Welcome to the Wellness Transformation Journey podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Peters. Establishing your new identity is extremely important in a wellness journey. It establishes who you are and guides you in establishing healthy habits. The first step, which I discussed in my last episode, is where you recognize who you are now, how your habits impact your identity, and how your identity can impact your goals. The next step is to start creating your new identity. I'll discuss creating your identity statements that will establish who you are becoming. Then I'll talk about how you will align your new identity with your habits and goals. Like everything else I've discussed, this takes time. The next step in the process is to create your identity statements. This is where you identify to yourself who you are becoming. You recognize your importance and value yourself. You start focusing on yourself and ignoring the naysayers in your life. Begin to craft positive present tense statements that describe your identity. Statements I crafted for myself included, I am someone who prioritizes eating foods that energize me. I am someone who moves daily because it makes me feel good and happy. I prioritize sleep and recovery to support my mental and physical well-being. I keep commitments to myself because I am important. I am not less important than anyone else, no matter what I am told. These are statements that you will post in a place where you can see them daily. They reaffirm your importance to yourself and others. When you find yourself down, struggling, or questioning your self-worth, repeat these statements to yourself. They carried me through periods of doubt and continue to carry me through periods of frustration and self-doubt. Now you need to evaluate your current habits, environment, and relationships. Start by identifying elements of your lifestyle that reinforce or contradict your desired identity. When you recognize these habits, create a plan to begin aligning aspects of your life with your new self-concept. The idea is not to change these all at once because this would not be sustainable. Remember, this is a process. I started by focusing on changing my snacking habits. I needed to be more conscious of why I was hungry or whether I was hungry. First, I set up a schedule for eating meals and snacks. Along with this, I focused on drinking more water. When I was bored or anxious, I would take a walk or find an activity to shift my focus. This made me ask myself if I was really hungry or wanting to eat out of habits I had built out of being bored. I started here, then worked on other habits as mine changed. The challenge I found in changing my habits was focusing on myself and what was best for me. I transitioned by following an identity-first behavior change. First, I made small changes and actions that reinforced my identity. As I previously stated, focus on changing your habits slowly and in small increments. It's all about becoming consistent and not about changing everything all at once. As I discussed in previous episodes, celebrate successes no matter the size. As you become consistent in these behaviors, expand on them to become part of your established identity. As you move through the process of developing long-term success strategies, decision-making can be one of the, and possibly the most challenging factor. Overcoming decision-making challenges often starts with asking yourself a question when you're making a choice. The first question I would ask myself was, will this support my long-term success of who I want to be and who I'm becoming? Then I would ask myself other questions. For instance, if I was hungry, I would ask myself, are you really hungry because you're hungry, or are you hungry because you're bored? One of the best ways to help yourself in making decisions is to pause before you make any decisions. Pausing allows you to gather yourself and your thoughts before making a choice. Sometimes I'll take a walk or I'll step away from a situation. Depending on the situation and how immediate the decision needs to be, I'll wait to follow through with something until I have taken a few days or weeks to ensure it's right for me. If it's more immediate, then I'll take a few minutes or the time I have to make the decision. This eventually becomes a habit and will help you in other areas of your life. No matter what, it still comes back to your wellness, health, and peace of mind. Through it all, tell yourself what is important about your new self and remind yourself of what matters. Along with changing your mindset, adjusting your environment will help you reinforce your new identity. Like supporting your SMART goals, creating an atmosphere in your home and other spaces that reflects your new identity will help you get started. Set up visual reminders like notes on spaces you frequent. Reorganize your fridge or pantry so healthier food is easier to access and the first thing you see when you look inside. Outside of your personal space, curate your social media and other information sources to support your new self-concept. I do this regularly to support my mental health, which supports my physical health. When I did this, I first focused on curating my social media to remove negative people, spaces that triggered me, or those sharing false information. I did my research to determine what sources were reliable and which were problematic. This helped me determine which influencers supported my goals and were legitimate. Along with this, determine what people in other spaces support your desired identity and you. Removing negativity from your spaces supports your mental and physical wellness. Now that you have established your new self and set up systems to help support yourself, the next step is to challenge situations that don't realistically support your identity. Not every situation or person will support you and your goals. In social situations, these people might push you to eat more or make comments about what you're eating to make you feel bad. They aren't supporting you. When this happens, first you may want to take a moment and ask yourself whether eating this will align with your new goals. You shouldn't feel left out. So don't feel guilty about treating yourself. You just may have to have a small portion. Later, ask yourself what the person's intentions really were. Is this a habit, and are they supporting me? Establish boundaries to protect you and your new identity. As you become more confident, there are people and situations that will challenge you. When struggling with food, especially in group settings, plan ahead by reading the menu before going to a restaurant or mentally preparing for the situation you may face. Like an athlete, visualize how you will overcome a situation. If it's people, use positive self-talk. If you're comfortable, confront the person in a non-confrontational way to come to an understanding. And if that doesn't work, it's okay to break the relationship or take a major step back to protect your well-being. If you get off course, set up protocols similar to what you did with your support group. These protocols should help you determine how you will recover when actions and identity misalign. Often this takes reminding yourself that one setback is not the end. This is where having your support system becomes extremely important. Understand that as you go through your wellness journey, your health and identity will evolve. That's the whole point. As you reach your goals, become consistent with small changes, and grow in confidence, expand and build on your goals and habits. Allow yourself to grow. Change your identity statements as you become healthier and see who you want to be. Don't let your weight be the only thing that defines you. Balance consistency, focusing on new physical, mental, and personal aspects of your identity. As I evolved, I changed my fitness goals to running longer distances and trying harder hikes. This led to my growing confidence and changes to my identity statements. I pushed the limits of my own health to determine how my identity was changing. Because my identity continues to evolve, my relationship with food, mental health, and personal relationships also continually changes. Eventually, over time, you will find that your behaviors and identity will become aligned and automatic. You won't have to think about what you're doing as often. It will be natural. Celebrate this by shifting your focus to new areas of your identity development. When you notice you're changing, recognize that you have moved from I am becoming to I am. Changing your self-identity into who you are becoming takes time. Some habits take more time than others to change. It's a lifelong process that constantly evolves. The best part is, as your self-identity positively evolves, you become more confident and self-aware.